Hello everyone, I just finished the video about Unity. If you didn't see it, I recommend you before watching this one to go and watch the video on Unity. And so now I will talk about the ego and the lower ego, not the higher one, because the higher one is something else which I will be talking in a future video. So the lower ego is the personal ego. So my name is Larry, your name is James and whatever. Ego is identity. The lower ego is about identity, okay? And therefore, ego, your lower ego can be your biggest enemy in life. Because everyone is working at the service of their ego, lower ego. And therefore, their ego is the master of their life. And they are slaves to their ego, okay? And so what do I mean by that? I mean that some people are working very hard just to maintain an identity, which of course is false, but they can work their entire life just to maintain this identity. And another thing is, if you believe or not in the afterlife, whether you believe it or not, I mean, you must believe in it because at least you will have some accountability, If you know that there is something after life, you will do your best in this life, Otherwise, you will fall just, for what most people do, like temptations and vices and drinking, partying, and fooling around and, doing all kinds of things, just to satisfy their lowest desires, like animals do. But we human beings, we have higher faculties, and if we do not use those higher faculties, then we fall back to the level of the animal, okay? And the thing with ego is like a prison. You are imprisoned in this illusion of the identity. And that's why it's kind of linked with the subject I talked about earlier about unity. Because if you feel separated, then of course you have to compete. In your head, it's like this, we are made like this with a lower ego. But this lower ego, it's not a bad thing if you use it to attain higher states of awareness, and to communicate with your higher ego, which we'll talk about later. And you have two choices. It's either you get imprisoned in this lower ego, and therefore you will live your whole life unsatisfied with anxiety, a lot of doubts and fear. Doubts and fear, it's the worst enemy, against anything you are trying to accomplish. And why you will have doubts and fear? Because you are afraid of what others will think of you, because what others think of you is more important to you than what you think of yourself, And it's kind of sad, but it's most people's lives are run by their lower ego, and they are imprisoned in this. And the second option is to transcend this lower ego. And this is done by letting go, this image, this identity, this illusion that you need to be better than someone else. And even though you are not a religious person or whatever, when you start listening to your inner voice, it will naturally lead you to the spiritual path, It's natural. You don't need someone to teach you, I don't have any gurus. I've never had any gurus or whatever in this path, I just read some books. I asked myself some questions. I took notes. I tried to practice in real life the concepts. And that's it. I'm going forward and forward in the spiritual path. And this journey began, let's say, in 2020, really, I would say. So it's only 3 years now. And I've made, I think, a lot of progress, but I'm still far, very far of the self-realization, But the more I'm going forward in this path, the more relaxed I feel, the less self-centered I feel, and therefore it's only good things, accumulated good feelings. And that's what I encourage you to do, to follow your inner guidance. But first, before that you can listen to this voice, you must first shut, your ego's voice down, You must abandon yourself, to like release, this state of always pursuing, your selfish desires, and just stop for a moment, take a break, try to think about what you really want, but not in a selfish way, Try to think how you can contribute to this world, because I believe that each and every one of us has kind of destiny, like a place that only you can, feel. It's your life mission. And if you don't know what it is yet, maybe it's because you don't listen enough to your inner voice, to your intuition. You are too much in the noise of the ego, So first, I would advise to just take a break, relax, and try to take some time for yourself. And, try to get some moments alone, really alone, with no noise, no TV, not someone else, talking to you, no phone, and all this kind of noise, that we are feeding our mind with. And therefore, you can start listening to your inner voice, and it will guide you toward your life's mission and toward the higher ego, And I think I will end this video with a question. Do you think that you will be happy if you got all your desires right now, the money, the fame, the house, and all this? Or do you think you will be happy if you do what you know inside of you must do? Inside of us, we all know what we must do. You know what's the right thing to do. And what will make you more happy? Will you be happier having all the material things you want? Or will you be happier being the person you want to be? The virtuous person you want to be? I think most of us want to be a good person inside of us, you know. And if you don't want, I don't think you are listening to me, because you must be imprisoned within your ego, and I don't know what can I say more to that. But you need to stop and calm and relax, you know, in life. We are all going to die, right? We are all going to die. And we will take no money with us. And we will take no possessions, no woman, no man. And this is not a reason for you to just give up on anything and just play and drink and do nothing in life. No, you have a mission that you and only you can fulfill. And this mission is in your heart. So listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart.